Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our English lesson. I'm Emma, and as always, I'm here with Jake. How are you today, Jake?
Hi Emma. Hi everyone. I'm doing great, thanks. I'm really excited about today's lesson because, honestly, it took me a while to understand this grammar when I was learning languages.
Oh, really? Well, today we're going to talk about something called the past perfect tense. That's the form, I had done, she had gone, they had finished. It sounds tricky, but it's actually very useful.
Right. We use it when we want to talk about two things that happened in the past, but one happened before the other. So we need a way to show which event came first.
Exactly. Imagine you're telling a story. You arrived at the cinema, but the film had already started. Two past events, but one happened before the other.
And the one that happened first uses had plus the past participle. That's the past perfect.
Let's look at this more carefully. The structure is simple. Subject plus had plus past participle. For example, I had eaten, you had seen, he had gone, we had finished.
And the great thing is, it's the same form for everyone. Had doesn't change. I had, you had, he had, she had, we had, they had. All the same.
That's right. Now, why do we use this tense? Listen carefully. When we tell a story in the past, we usually use the past simple. I went to the shop. I bought some bread. Simple events, one after the other.
But sometimes we need to talk about something that happened earlier, before the main story. That's when we use the past perfect.
For example, when I arrived at the party, everyone had already left. The arriving is the main story. The leaving happened before.
So it's like going back in time within your story. The past perfect takes you one step further into the past.
Beautifully said, Jake. Now let's hear it in a real conversation. Imagine I'm telling Jake about a difficult morning I had yesterday.
Sounds good. Let's go.
Jake, you won't believe my morning yesterday. By the time I got to the office, the meeting had already finished.
Oh no. What happened? Why were you so late?
Well, before I left home, I checked my emails. I had received a message from my boss the night before, but I hadn't read it.
Let me guess. The meeting time had changed?
Exactly. He had moved it from 10 o'clock to 8:30. By the time I realized, it was already 9.
That's terrible. So when you arrived, everyone had gone back to their desks?
Yes. And worse, my boss had prepared a presentation about my project. I had worked on it for 3 weeks, and I missed the moment when he showed it.
Oh, Emma, I'm so sorry. Did you talk to him after the meeting?
I did. He was understanding. He told me that he had sent the message twice, just to be sure. I felt so silly.
Well, at least it ended okay. Did anything good happen after that?
Actually, yes. After I apologized, he invited me for coffee. We had a really nice chat. Okay, let's stop and look at what we just heard. Jake, can you find some examples of the past perfect from our conversation?
Sure. You said, the meeting had already finished. The meeting finished first, and then you arrived. So the finishing came before.
Perfect example. What else?
You also said, I had received a message, but I hadn't read it. The message arrived in the past, but reading it, well, that didn't happen at all.
Yes. And notice the negative form. I hadn't read it. We just add, not, after, had. Had not, becomes, hadn't.
And for questions, we put had before the subject. Had you read the email? Had he changed the time?
Excellent. Now, there are some words that we use very often with the past perfect. These words help us show the order of events. Words like before, after, by the time, already, and previously.
Wait, Emma. I want to try a sentence. Yesterday, before I had eaten breakfast, I drank coffee.
Let me gently correct that. You can say it, but it's more natural to say, before I ate breakfast, I drank coffee. With before, we usually use the past simple, because before already tells us the order.
Ah, I see. So, before itself shows the sequence. We don't need the past perfect to repeat that.
Exactly. But we often use the past perfect with after. After I had eaten breakfast, I went for a walk. Or with by the time I arrived, they had left.
Got it. So, by the time, almost always uses the past perfect for the earlier action.
Yes, that's a really useful pattern. Now let's hear another conversation. This time, Jake will tell me about his weekend. So, Jake, how was your weekend? Did you do anything interesting?
Actually, yes. I went hiking with some friends. But it was a bit of a disaster.
Oh dear, what happened?
Well, by the time we reached the top of the mountain, the weather had completely changed. It was sunny when we started, but suddenly there was thick fog.
That sounds dangerous. Were you prepared?
Not really. We had checked the weather forecast that morning, and it had said sunny all day. So we hadn't brought any rain jackets.
Oh no. So what did you do?
After we waited for about 30 minutes, the fog cleared a little. We had already decided to go down by then. We didn't want to take any risks.
That was sensible. Had you been to that mountain previously?
Yes, I had hiked there twice previously. But I had never seen the weather change so quickly. It was quite scary.
I can imagine. And what about your friends? Had they done much hiking before?
2 of them were experienced. They had climbed many mountains previously. But our friend Sarah had never been hiking before this trip.
Oh, poor Sarah. What a first experience.
I know. After we got home, she said she would never go hiking again. But by the next morning, she had already changed her mind. She wants to try again next month.
Brave girl. Well done, Sarah. Now, let's focus on the special vocabulary we used. The first word is before. We use it to show that one thing happened earlier than another.
For example, before the meeting started, I drank some coffee. Or, I had finished my homework before my parents came home.
Good. And one more. Before I moved to London, I had lived in 3 different cities. So, before connects 2 events in time.
Next is after. This is the opposite. It tells us which event happened later. After I had finished work, I went home.
Yes. After we had eaten dinner, we watched the film. After she had left, the phone rang.
Then we have by the time. This is a really useful phrase. It means, when this moment arrived.
By the time I got home, my husband had cooked dinner. By the time the bus arrived, I had been waiting for an hour. By the time the film ended, half the audience had left.
I love by the time. It really shows that something was completed before a specific moment.
Next, already. We use this when something happened earlier than expected, or before another event.
Like, when I called, she had already gone to bed. Or, by 10 o'clock, I had already finished the report.
And one more. I wanted to help, but they had already done everything. Already goes between had and the past participle.
Finally, previously. This is a more formal word. It means before now, or before that time.
She had previously worked as a teacher. I had previously visited Paris twice. They had previously lived in Spain.
Previously sounds a bit more professional or written. You might see it in news reports or formal stories.
Right. Now let's review everything we've learned today. The past perfect is had plus the past participle. We use it for an action that happened before another past action.
And we often use it with before, after, by the time, already, and previously, to make the order of events clear.
Let me give one final example using all five. Listen carefully. Before I came to England, I had previously studied English in school. After I had arrived, I made many friends. By the time I finished my course, I had already decided to stay.
Wow, that was beautiful. 5 words, one short story.
Now, listeners, try to make your own sentences. Think about something you did yesterday, and something else you had done before it. Practice out loud.
Don't worry if it feels strange at first. The past perfect takes time to feel natural. Use it in your stories, and slowly it will become automatic.
That's right. And remember, listen to English speakers. You'll hear this tense everywhere, especially in books and films. Well, that brings us to the end of today's lesson. Thank you so much for joining us.
You did great. The past perfect is challenging, but you're now one step closer to mastering it.
In our next lesson, we're going to look at the past perfect continuous. That's the form I had been doing for actions that continued for some time before another past event.
Like, I had been waiting for 2 hours when the train finally arrived. It's a really expressive tense, and you'll love it.
So please join us next time. Until then, keep practicing, keep listening, and keep speaking. Goodbye.
Bye everyone. See you in the next lesson.